Greetings! Today, for your viewing pleasure, I have another vintage calculator to show you. This is a General Instrument model EZ3500 scientific calculator, and it was made around 1976. I got this for $4 at the thrift store. It was the same day that I got my new Sony Trinitron monitor, and the same day I got the Sony portable cassette recorder. I was really lucky to find this calculator. I looked around the thrift store, got the monitor, got the tape recorder, and I was just about ready to leave until I thought, oh, why not do some extra digging, because they have, desks and stuff that have, cupboards and drawers on them and stuff, so they had a desk there that was for sale. I figured why not, just open the cupboard doors that were on it and see if there's anything inside them, and by golly there was. I opened one of the cupboard doors and here was this calculator in it, so I'm lucky I spotted that. This thing's in perfect shape, both physically and functionally. It works perfect, and there is absolutely not a scratch on this thing. Also, it came with this leather case, which is really cool. Fits right in there and it buttons up, and it's got no markings on it, and it's really nice. So we'll do a physical overview of this calculator. You can probably tell it has an LED display, which is really cool. We have an on-off switch. We have a switch to switch between degrees and radians. And then here are the buttons. Besides the standard 4 functions, of course for scientific functions, you have your trigonometric functions with the inverse functions. You have square root, ln, e to the x, 1 over x, pi, and some memory functions. I do not know what MEX does, and I do not know what CN does. So I have yet to figure that out. Unfortunately, I can't find any information of this calculator online, so I can't find a manual. But yes, and this F key here, that serves as the second function button. So you press F, and when you press 7, you get sine. So pretty simple. And here's what it looks like. We have an AC adapter jack. It takes 9 volts or thereabouts, probably not picky about it. And yeah, and if we look on the back here, it has some instructions on how to use the basic functions of the calculators, the four basic functions and powers and operation with a constant. And for memory and scientific functions, it says look at the owner's manual. Model EZ3500, made in Canada by General Instrument of Canada Limited. This is actually made in Canada, which is really cool. So you may be wondering, you may notice there is no obvious battery compartment on this thing. This thing does take a battery. It takes a 9-volt battery, and to get to the battery compartment, this top cover slides off. See, just like that. And your 9-volt battery goes right there. And as you can see here, the design's pretty simple, which is nice. The AC adapter jack is just wired in parallel with the 9-volt battery. So there's no fancy stuff going on there. And it's all right there in front of you. So say if a wire became desoldered or something, just, wore out over time and came loose, you could just solder it back on. Everything's just out in the open here. And also, because of the way it's wired, if you had a rechargeable 9-volt battery in here, it would charge when you had the adapter plugged in. So take care that if you ever use it on the adapter, don't have a regular 9-volt battery in it. So that's pretty nice. Battery just goes in like that, and it slides back on. And I like this. I like this design. There, just like that. And this came with a very old 9-volt battery in it. Here it is. It's an Energizer battery. Based on the logo, this battery at the very latest was made in the early 1990s. So this is a very old battery. It says Ever Ready on it. Alkaline battery. Unfortunately, there is no expiration date on it. It was made in the USA. I don't know if batteries today are made in the USA. So yeah, that was pretty cool. The battery's physically in excellent shape. It has absolutely no power left in it. When I put it on the multimeter, it read 0.5 volt, and it dropped very rapidly with just the multimeter on it. Of course, multimeter draws a couple of milliamps to take the voltage. We will turn this on right now, so flip the switch, And the first thing you notice that's pretty interesting is that the 0 is on the left side, not the right, as in most modern calculators and even many vintage calculators at the time. So we can press buttons here. You notice the display flash while it does the processing needed to put a number in the display. So that's pretty cool. And so I have a number here. I'll just multiply it by 5. And there's that. So it's pretty simple. And of course degrees and radians here gives you no indication. Of course it doesn't really need to when it's a physical switch. So I'll do a couple of scientific functions here. Now let's say I want to take the sine of 5. We press 5 here and we press F. And the leftmost digit is actually not used for a number. It's just meant to use for indications such as a negative number or F. So we press F and then I'll press 7 for sine and watch what it does while it's calculating. That's pretty funny. It shows F and it kind of blinks and glitches out while it calculates, so that's pretty cool. And I can switch it over to radians and do the sine of 7, or sine of 5. And it gives me an error because you cannot calculate the sine of 5 in radians mode. So that's basically what an error looks like. It just says E0. So I'll clear that. And yeah, not much to show. The fact that despite how old this is, it has functions like ln x and e to the x, that's pretty cool. And actually, I figured in this video I'll compare this thing to the Texas Instruments TI-30, which was introduced at the same time this calculator was introduced. This example here is actually a few years newer, 1979, but it's just the same. The TI-30 does have quite a few more functions. It has log, it has y to the x. Oh, it also has gradients mode, which this doesn't have. And then some other functions like that, which I don't even know what they do. And it's got percent, which this doesn't have, and stuff like that. And of course the algebraic way this works, it has the bracket keys. But yeah, so this doesn't have as many features as this, but it does have features that this doesn't have, the e to the x. So I guess really e to the x is the only unique feature of this calculator. Also another thing, if you put a number into memory, so let's say I want to store 8 in the memory, function m+, a little tick comes up on the leftmost digit to tell you that there's something in memory. So if I clear it, and then go memory recall by pressing function mr, it spews it back up, and then if I press MC, that clears the memory. Other comparisons, the displays are both 8 digits. The TI display is a little bit brighter, but by the looks of it, they're otherwise exactly the same. We can compare the speed at which they calculate. So let's say I get both of them to compute the sine of 5. So I'll get that ready to do. So let's see how fast they can do it. TI is a little bit faster. And one huge difference that I immediately notice is the keypad on this calculator is excellent. Of course, as I mentioned in my video of this calculator, Texas Instruments during the late 70s and early 80s had horrible quality problems with their keyboards on their calculators. These calculators have an awful keypad. Oftentimes you go to press a button and the number either doesn't register or it registers like 100 times. See, right now I'm pressing 2 and it's not really getting through. So yeah, these things have a pretty awful keypad on them. This thing's excellent. Yet have I ever had a mispress. The keypad works excellent. And that brings up a topic. I'm definitely considering it with this calculator. I'm not sure with this one, but I'm definitely considering selling the TI-30 on eBay and then using the money. Of course, I probably won't sell this thing for as much as I would to get another calculator, but I'm thinking of selling this and getting another Texas Instruments calculator from the SR series, like an SR51 or an SR52. Because those calculators did not have the keypad problem. They used a different keypad technology, and they have more features that actually make them very useful. And as a matter of fact, an SR52 actually has all of the features I need, well, at least all the features I ever needed in my first year of university. So if I got one of those and it turned out to work really well, I could actually use it as a main calculator. So I'm seeing about selling this. I'll probably keep this for at least a while, but I'm thinking of definitely selling this and seen about getting a Texas Instruments SR calculator from the same period. Physically, they were roughly the same. This design, they used an LED display. Instead of the 9-volt battery, they used a rechargeable battery pack, but the input voltage is 9 volts nonetheless, so it would be easy to hack a 9-volt battery into it. But I'm entertaining that thought right now. One last thing, this calculator, in terms of the quality and reliability of its calculations, doesn't seem to be very, very good. And it definitely doesn't seem to be as good as the TI-30. First of all, if I take the sine of 5, you'll notice it only calculates it to 6 digits. If I take the sine of 5 on the TI-30, it takes it to 7 digits. I believe these early calculators, rather than actually calculating the sine, cosine, or tangent of a number, they just recalled a stored number from memory. The calculator makers actually programmed all those values into memory, and the calculator just recalls it when you ask it to. But here's another thing. I think in the video of this calculator I mentioned what they call a forensics test. What you do is you do a bunch of calculations on a number, and in the end, theoretically, you should get the same number if the calculator is 100% perfect in its calculations. What you do is you put in 9, and you take the sine, take the cosine, take the tangent, then take the inverse tangent, take the inverse cosine, and take the inverse sine. And as you can see, this one's pretty good. It got 9.1 something. Newer calculators are slightly better, but this one wasn't bad. Watch what this thing comes up with when I do the forensics test on it. We'll do 9, take the sine, take the cosine, take the tangent, take the inverse tangent, take the inverse cosine, and the inverse sine, and we get 0. So, yeah, so not very good, but I won't blame it. So, that's pretty much all there is to show of the General Instrument model EZ3500 scientific calculator, made around 1976 in Canada. I think I definitely like the physical design of it, the way the battery compartment's hidden under the top portion here. And I think it works really well. It's got a nicely designed keypad on it that still works after 30 odd years, almost 40 years actually. And yeah, I think it's a really cool calculator, and I'm glad I got it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.